Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Treasure Peter. On today's tutorial, I'll be making this short boubou gown with cold shoulder and this combination that makes it so unique by Total Ninja. So guys, if it's something you're interested in, do well to watch till the end, and if you've not subscribed to my channel, please do well to subscribe and also like this video so YouTube can recommend it to others. Thank you so much. Hi guys, welcome back once again. So to make this gown, I'm making use of about 3 yards of this Ankara print, and this is about half yard, but I'll advise you make use of 1 yard. So the first thing I'm doing now is to fold my fabric into 4 because I'll be cutting the front and the back together. In order for you to determine the width, take note of your shoulder measurement divided by 4 plus your sleeves length, whatever you want your sleeves length to be. So divide your shoulder measurement into 2. For mine it was about 7 inches, and then my sleeve length was about 11 inches. So that means I'm going to be adding 11 plus 7 inches, which is about 18 inches, and my folding should be at least 18 inches. Hope you guys got that. So the first thing I'm proceeding to do is to draw out my starting line. So I went ahead to just draw out the beginning line for this gown. So from the starting line, I'll go ahead to measure my length. So I made use of about 36 inches for my length, but instead I marked 38 inches because of the hemming allowance as well as the joining at the shoulder. The next thing I'm going to do is to take my hip measurement, like my shoulder to hip. I made use of 25 inches. This is not really that necessary, but it's still okay for you to mark it. The next thing I marked was my waist measurement. So I made use of 16 inches for my waist measurement. I marked it, and then I also went ahead to mark my bust point measurement, which was around 11 inches. So even if you take 12 inches for where you are going to take your bust circumference, I feel it's still very okay since this is actually a boubou gown. So I just went ahead to mark them out, and that is it. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to take my normal measurements at the top. I'm going to be taking my shoulder measurements divided by 2. I just marked what I had, and then I went ahead to take my sleeves length. The actual sleeves length I'm making use of will be about 10 inches, but I made use of 11 inches, and this is even because I'm going to use a black piece to turn it in, so I'll be achieving 10.5 inches at the end. So this is just how the gown is. I'm showing you guys again so you understand better. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to take the neck width. In order to do that, I made use of about 3.5 inches. I wanted to make use of 4 inch, but I decided to just use 3.5 inches. You know, it's better to be tight than to be too free. And then for the neck depth, I just came down with 2 inches. This is not actually the actual neck depth. This is just in order to take out a neck. And then at the end of the sleeves, go ahead to take your slant. This is like taking the shoulder slant. I made use of 1.5 inches and then connected it back to the neck width. So this is just another way of saying you're taking your shoulder slant. You can use 1 inch if you feel 1.5 is too low. So from that slant, I'm going to be taking the round measurement of my sleeves, the round sleeves. So because this is a free sleeves, I made use of 18 inches. I'm trying to achieve at least 16 inches at the end of the day because I want it to be free as 16 inches. Then I connected the line together, and then on that bust point line, I'm going ahead to measure my bust circumference divided by 4, and I'm adding additional 3 inches. If you want yours to be very free, go ahead to add up to 4 or 5 inches, and then I went ahead to just connect it to meet up with my round sleeves. And then the next thing I'm going to go ahead to do is to take my waist measurement divided by 4. I marked what I had, and I added extra 4 inches allowance. So this is almost like the same thing with the bust measurement because I'll be having a straight line like this. So I'm going to also take my hip measurements divided by 4 on the hip line. I marked what I had, and I added additional 3 inches allowance. So this is just depending on what you want. If you want yours to be free and very free, you can make use of like 4 inches or 5 inches for your extra allowances. And then at the down part, I'm marking the same thing I have at my hip measurement, and then I went ahead to just mark them out. And then the next thing we'll be doing here is to take out our pockets. So for that, I went up by 1 inch at the waistline, and then I extended it up to 8 inches. I wanted my pocket opening to be 8 inches. So this is how it's going to be for me to extend. I have about 7 inches here, and I feel it's also very okay. If you want, you can just cut it out and attach your pocket separately. So this is just how I want to go about with this. So after marking the 8 inches, I'll just go ahead to do a curve. But the way I curved it this first time, I do not really like it because I wanted it to go downward. So I'm going to be doing another curve, as you can see the way I'm doing, because I want it to go downwards. Since it's a pocket, it shouldn't be a straight line and it should not be facing upwards. So this is just what I mean, as you can see. So that is all for the drafting of the pocket. I'll just go ahead to cut out this gown first. After cutting it out, then we'll go ahead to work on the neck, because that is the major style for this gown. So guys, after cutting it out, here is it. I'll just go ahead to open it up and keep it well. So make sure to place it on the parts where you marked your chalk, because you're going to really make use of that part. So guys, the first thing I went ahead to do is to take note of the shoulder width. So I went ahead to mark my shoulder point again, and then from that shoulder line, I'm extending it with 6 inches. Although I recommend that you extend yours with 3 inches, please extend it with just 3 inches, because I discovered 6 inches was actually too much and I had to do a whole lot of work to reduce it. Then for this side, I am coming down with about 5 inches. For the neck depth, please come down with just 3 inches. 5 inches was also too much, so I am glad that I actually used mine to make the mistake and to actually show you guys the proper measurements to use. So I'm going to just draw a straight line first to show you guys how it looks like. Then I'm going to just curve it in like this. So just curve it in. So I'll just go ahead to extend it and curve it back to that point where I marked. As you can see, this is how our neck is. At this point, go ahead to measure your length of that extension. I did not do that, but I'm still going to keep my material and also do that. So guys, you have to try and pin it down. Mine was just swaying. I had to just keep something to secure it, so I just went ahead to cut it out. That is it for the cutting of this neck. As you can see, it's something very easy. So that is it, guys. But we have to take note of the parts that we are taking off. You need to take note of this part. So I went ahead to measure it. At the shoulder line, it was about 3 inches, and at the neck width point, it was about 4 inches. This is so you know the length that you're going to take for that black attachment, so you know what length you are to take to extend it, as you can see. So this is just it. At this point, I'm just going to try to notch that point. Even if I notch it, when we attach our black combination, it's still going to be hidden. So I think the best thing to do is to mark it out on the right side. So this is the black combination I'll be making use of, the black crepe, and I'm going to be cutting it out one after the other. You can place your two fabric together at once. So I went ahead to place mine one part, and I'm just going to cut it out. As you can see, I had to cut out the shoulder part so it will align. Then I went ahead to place it on the right side, so I'll see what I'm cutting. And I'm going to be making use of 4 inches for the length of this cape. So I'm going to be measuring from the neck round 4 inches round to just take it just like this. The reason why I'm using 4 inches is because I want to achieve at least 3 inches at the end of the day. So I'll be using ½ inch to turn the neck, and I'll be using ½ inch to, sew on it because I'm not going to be placing it as a cape. I'm just going to sew and attach it to the fabric, just like a combination. So I just went ahead to cut it out. So here is it, guys. I had to just pin it down first because I'm going to be cutting out this part. So guys, from the style inspiration, this is what I'm trying to achieve. So I'm just going to slant it like this using my ruler in order to achieve that V part at the end of this other side. I actually went in with ½ inch extra before doing the slanting. This is because the ½ inch is for attaching it to the fabric, so I'm going to be folding it in with the ½ inch. So guys, this is it for the combination of the upper part of the neck part. I'll be cutting 2 pieces for the front and back. So right now it's time for us to sew. So the first thing I'm going to do is to use this combination to turn the neck. So I'm just going to be turning the neck, turn it over to the right side. I'll be using my hemming gum to turn the neck so it will look very neat. So I'm going to be turning it for the back and the front piece. So I was just pinning it down to show you guys how I'm going to turn it over. So just go ahead to do the same thing. So I'll go ahead to turn it off the camera and show you guys what I have. For this point, you need to leave ½ inch and then go ahead to fold it in with ½ inch and iron it with your iron so it will look neat before attaching it and stitching it on the fabric. Here is it, guys. After turning the neck, as you can see, it's looking very neat. I've gone ahead to iron this part and then I just went ahead to pin it down. So I left ½ inch at the fabric side. As you can see, this ½ inch is for joining, so I'm going to be using it to attach the sleeves together. So guys, I've gone ahead to pin it down, so I'm just going to take it to my sewing machine to sew on it, and I'll also do the same thing to this other side. So guys, for the part that goes across the front and the back, I'm making use of this black piece. So for the width, I have about 5 inches, and when I fold it into 2, I'll be having about 2 inches after joining it with ½ inch. But if you want to achieve the exact same thing, I'll suggest that you make use of 7 inches for your width. So when you fold it into 2, you're going to be having 3 inches after joining it. For the length, go ahead to use the length of your gown times 2, because we'll be using it for the front and the back. So you need to times the length of your gown into 2. For mine, the length of my gown was 38 inches, so I made it 38 times 2. I'll go ahead to sew it and then bring it out to the right side and iron it very well. So guys, there is the front side after attaching the black piece. I've done the same thing on the back side, and the next thing I'm going to do is to join it with ½ inch at the shoulder for both the side with the off shoulder and the side with the shoulder. So I'm going to be joining them both with ½ inch. So guys, at this point, after joining it, that was when I discovered that my neck was very wide. That's why at the beginning I told you guys not to take the depth and the width of that shoulder part to be like mine. So you have to reduce it so that you won't pass through the same thing I passed through. So I'm going to also work on the sleeves. I'll go ahead to use a piece of black fabric to just turn it over to the right side and also attach it and top stitch on it. So I'll do the same thing for the other sleeves, and I'll do it off the camera and show you guys my end result. Here is it, guys. After attaching the shoulder, this is what I have. As you can see, it's looking very neat, and this is this other part. This is looking so neat. Our gown is almost ready. It's remaining one last step before closing the sides, which is to attach the black piece. So I've gone ahead to iron it. As you can see, I made the joining part to be at the center before ironing it. This will make it to be very, very neat. So in order to attach it, you're going to go ahead to open up your gown like this, and then take note of where your shoulder is. Sorry, I forgot to tell you, you ought to mark your shoulder points, because we are starting to place it from where the shoulder starts. at the side, at the other side. So I went ahead to place it. Make sure that it passes through that point where your shoulder starts. So I'll be securing it with my pins from the down part. So just go ahead to secure it down, and if possible try to use a ruler to mark a straight line. I didn't actually use my ruler, I just used my discretion, but I feel it's best to use your ruler. So just go ahead to pin it down. Just make sure to open it up and open the neck part and keep it straight. Make sure that you keep it very straight. Allow it to stay on its own. It's going to give you the best result this way. So also try to take note of the shoulder part along this part. I had marked mine, and try to make it to be on a straight line. Just make sure you open up the neck very well while pinning it. If possible, go ahead to measure to check if you have what you took out while cutting out the neck part. So go ahead to attach it to the end of this other side. If you actually got it right, you notice that the combination will end at the end of the gown. So after that, you go ahead to attach it on both sides. Just go ahead to run your stitch on it and try to top stitch around this neck part to really secure it. Do the same thing to this other side. I'll do that off the camera and show you guys the end result. So guys, I'll also go ahead to close the sides. So I'll just go ahead to close the sides with 1 inch. I'll just go ahead to follow it up through my pocket. Just go ahead to close the sides and follow it through the pocket side, close it to the end. I'll do the same thing for the other side and show you guys what I have. Here is it guys, after closing the sides and also attaching the black piece. So guys, I somehow noticed that my own was not straight. That's why I'm recommending that please make sure to use your ruler to draw a straight line before attaching it. So the final thing I'll do is to hem the down part. So here is it. This is my pocket opening, and that is it for the making of this gown. Thank you so much for watching. If you watch up till the end, please do well to hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and also do well to like and also share it to others so they will benefit from this tutorial. Thank you so much guys, and see you in my next tutorial. Here is it when I tried it on. Thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.